remarks?
Yeah, I think welcome. It's always nice to have these types of days when it's a little bit more relaxed, where there's no obviously pressure from results and stuff, and we can all collaborate on and see the vision of what the football club wants to do. We've had a couple of really disappointing seasons on the field, but I think the common positive throughout the whole club is the fan base that we are trying to grow, and we've made a real conscious effort, particularly this pre-season, because of the opening of the gates of COVID, etc., and we can get a little bit closer to people, of connecting with the local communities and especially with the Inter Miami supporters who, with no fault of anybody, has been obviously behind a barrier for the last 2 seasons because of COVID, and I suppose we can put the media in that. There's been a barrier in front of everybody in terms of the connection and the closeness of where you see us going in terms of the vision. So I think from day one of pre-season, with from the top right to Rafa and myself and Chris, we've tried to open up the gates and be a little bit more transparent and a little bit more visible in terms of what we're trying to do, that will help you and help the supporters see the vision of this football club. And I think today was another example of that, and how we're trying to keep growing our fan base with the local communities and the local sports clubs, the local soccer clubs, and the family environment that we want to create. So it's been a real positive afternoon. Some of our younger players were exposed to the atmospheres again of the big stadium, and you could see the excitement of the boys, even those that played yesterday that were slightly fatigued, how they wanted to get out there with their families. We've had a family barbecue before the training session, so the connection and the connection and the togetherness of this football club is vital, and it comes from obviously the top.
Thank you. We'll start with questions. Please raise your hand. We'll start with Lauren, then Michelle.
So talk about today. What was the most fun thing you saw there today?
Well, I think I always love the young kids in the stadium and the family environment, and it's why we wanted our families to come on at the end. Why we wanted our families to be a part of it, because I think the most special moments I've had in my career and in my life have involved my family and sharing those moments with them. So seeing the families in the stadium, seeing the excitement in the stadium, seeing the younger boys be inspired by it, and we're getting close to kick-off now, and you can feel it.
Next question, Michelle.
I wanted to go a little off on DeAndre Yedlin. We didn't get to meet him today,
Yeah.
but what does it mean having him come to the team? What do you think he brings the team on and off the field? It's a big signing, I think, for the club.
Yeah, I think it's almost a DP signing for us, really, in terms of his quality. He's played at the top level in the top soccer nations in the world. So we hope his experience, his quality, his leadership, and the fact that he is American, I think, is really important. And we have a young new team, and we want experience in there as well with good leadership, and he's part of a group of senior players that we expect, and we will ask a lot of things on in terms of passing on experiences and setting the standard and being the leaders within that dressing room. And I think we had to make a really hard decision, the hardest decision we probably had to make with Christian McCoon, and we didn't really want to make it, but we knew that if we made that tough decision, that we would be able to bring in somebody like DeAndre, and we would not have made that decision if it was somebody less than the level of DeAndre. So that's the biggest compliment to him, because Christian McCoon was a big part of our family.
What about on the field? What kind of player is he, from what you know?
Well, he's fast. He's got the physical capacity to get up and down. He's got the quality. He's got the big game experience. It was an area where we feel, you think about the people we played in the right wing back position last year. We had wingers playing in that position. We were exposed at times in that position, and we wanted to bring in real quality, and we have that now. And I think he's nearly the last piece of the jigsaw.
Next question, Jose. Then we'll go Franco.
Phil, I'd like to get your thoughts on the game last night. We didn't get to talk to you after it.
Yeah.
What did you like about the game? And just quickly, you can update us on injuries in terms of, we saw Campana out there. It's a
Yeah.
good sign.
Yeah, Campagna that was his first training session with the team. He's been working incredibly hard. He only had a minor contusion strain, so we just didn't want to take any risks. Emerson is going to be back with us this week, but Emerson is a funny one because the day after he felt a little bit of tightness in his hamstring, he wanted to train. He wanted to play against the Peruvian side. And then the day after he wanted to train again, and the day after that he wanted to train again. He's a boy that doesn't know his own body, and his whole profile is built on speed, and you can't take any risks with one, an inexperienced, naive boy, and two, someone that's as fast as him with an hamstring. So we're going to just take our time with him, but by the end of this week we hope he'll be back in full training. Bryce Duke, Robbie Robinson are going to be a little bit longer. Robbie picked up a little bit of a knock in midweek in training. Bryce, in the first scrimmage that we had against Columbus, he picked up a little bit of a strain. So the game last night, well, I thought it was the best we played in parts. We tried a new system. You can see it was Damian Lowe's only trained with us one day and he played yesterday. Quinteros couldn't play yesterday. And for some of the boys, it's the end of a 4-week block of training. So some were slightly fatigued and some were new into the team, but I thought it was the best we've played. You could see there's connections coming, and it was a really, really great workout against a really good team that always tends to cause us problems. So the good thing what we've had this year, we've already had 4 games, 4 scrimmages. So our players are nearly at match fitness going into Charleston next week, and then we need to get Gregory, Campagna, Bryce Duke, the players that have not had that many minutes into the team as well. So we feel as if we're in a really good position with 3 weeks to go before the start of the season. Today and tomorrow are recovery days for everybody, and Monday we start back.
Next question, Franco.
Phil, if I could ask you about 2 players as well. One, Nick Marsman. What's his status? Obviously he finished last season injured.
Yeah.
I imagine he's still working his way back. And the second one is Jovin Jones, who's technically on the roster, but we haven't seen him.
Yeah.
At all during preseason.
Jovin's he's in the visa process. He's in Jamaica. He's got his visa now, but you have to wait, I think, 10 to 14 days to receive the passport back and the family documents back. So he's not fully fit yet, but he's had to go through the visa process, which has took a really long time. And we've got a few players that are going for green cards or getting visas that it's just a patience game, So Nick Marsman is ahead of schedule, I've got to say. Whether he'll be fit for the start of the season, I think it's touch and go, but he's progressing every single day. We've got Diop, we've got Drake Callender, who've played in the scrimmages so far and will continue to do so. And we're just working slowly with Nick Marsman because we want him back for the whole season, not just for the first game. And the severity of the injury means that we've got to be really, really certain when he's fully fit to join back in the training. But he's pushing. He's ahead of schedule. He worked all over Christmas in the Netherlands with the Dutch physio that he had in his time off, and we're hoping that every day we'll see great improvements.
We'll go last question in the back.
You mentioned signing up DeAndre, and a couple of weeks ago against Chicago, who, if the rumors are true, they're going to be getting Jordan Shaqiri in from Europe. I just want to know, seeing any of that, your thoughts on that, and how that impacts your tactics going into that game.
Yeah, it doesn't impact the tactics, but I think what we've seen. What we've seen with the MLS year, that this year season is the amount of quality players that are coming into the league. I think the hope is that Shaqiri signs after the 26th of February. That they have long visa problems in Chicago because he's a good player. I saw him a lot in the Premier League and I saw him in the World Cup. He's a player that I think would really suit this league in terms of the transition of this league, and he's got real quality. Similar probably to Carlos Gil at New England, that type of player, and so they're going to be a really tough team. These early pre-season matches, you see a lot of teams that are playing them at this moment in time with not their full team because of the international fixtures. But I think you'll see probably next week, 2 weeks before the start of the season, that a lot of the scrimmages that people are having will be with their international players returning, their DPs being signed, and so it's exciting. I think we get to this point in pre-season when you've put in real tough work and the players have got a real strong foundation, that your mind starts drifting 3 weeks, to the first game of the season. We've given them a taste of the stadium today, and preseason gets you where you get to the point where you say, like, let's cut the rubbish now and let's just get the action down to the action, and that's where we're nearly at for a lot of the players. But for us, there's still 3 weeks to get more together, to get more spirit, to get more combinations, to get the new players integrated. And I would say about the integration of the new players, I think it's been easier. I think it's easier when you have 12, 13 players coming into a dressing room new than it is having one or two, because those one or two are always tend to be isolated in a corner somewhere. With 12 to 13, you've got nowhere to hide. You just go, the lunch times, the noise is incredible, because they're all just mucking in together, because they all want new friends, they're all new groups, so it's really interesting that actually it's been easier bringing 12 in than bringing one or two, because you worry about the one or two being left alone. And at the end of each double day, or the end of a training sessions, we're here till 4, 5, 6 o'clock. The players are not far, behind us. They are staying, they're connecting with each other. They're in hotels, some of them together. And there's a real freshness about the whole group. And I think what that's done is, for people like Victor, Breck, Gonzalo, it's totally reinvigorated them in terms of their outlook, their freshness, and I think that's what young people do. Young people bring excitement and freshness to everything.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
Done?
Yeah.
Oh.